What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. It is Kiara, your Captain Gorgeous Queen, child. Period. And today I'm here to basically share an update of my life and how I've been appointed new responsibilities that I really didn't foresee. So let's get right into it. So by the title, I'm sure you can kind of already guess where this conversation is going in the first place. And what that is referring to is I'm now responsible for raising a child because there was a death in the family. The person who passed away is my aunt, and she had been struggling with something for a few years now. And upon her getting ready to transition, she did ask me personally if this was something that I would do for her, if this was something that I would be willing to take on. Now, a little bit of background about me, which if you've already been following me, you already know this about me, right? I have been single for a minute. I've been off and on dating, not really taking that seriously. I do not have any kids of my own. I am 31 years old. And I purposely, made a conscious decision to not have any kids, right? And the reason for that is because I saw what that did to the women of my family that I love. I've seen what that can do for, friends, and how that changes the whole dynamic of their life and how everything has to shift and change. And some of them don't have help. Some of them deal with a lot of heavy things with the person that they had a child with, or even that person's family. And I just made a conscious decision that that's just not what I wanted to step foot into just yet, right? Like, nothing is guaranteed. Even if I was to get married and have kids, no one's to say that that person won't just flip and change out of nowhere and leave us high and dry, right? That's a whole nother story. But my thought process is I'm not ready for that right now. I'm dealing with a lot right now. So I know for a fact that I'm just not ready to be somebody's mama, okay? Like, this was my whole thought process while this was happening. Now, while she was preparing to transition, she was also preparing the family for her transition, letting us know about legal stuff, letting us know where things are, letting us know what to do with the car, what to do with this and that, and just trying to prepare us. But if you think about death, if you've ever lost someone that you really, really love, that's super close to you, there is no preparation for that. A loss is a loss is a loss. You can tell me all day long, like, my grandmother, she tried to get me ready for that. And she's like, well, I'm boxing up some stuff, Kiara. What do you want, honey? And I'm like, are we really having this conversation right now? Like, I am such an empath and a lover, and I'm so connected and attached to people. I get very, very strongly attached to people and what their connection means to me. I love talking to them. I love hearing their voice. I love experiencing them. And so when you are trying to prepare me for a breakup, because that's what it feels like, right? Like an eternal breakup, there is no soft cushion landing for that type of information. You can't prepare me for that, okay? It's hard losing somebody. Back to my aunt, she tried to prepare me for that. She would ask me certain questions and she would just hint at it. And I'm just like, I think that she's asking me to take this on, but does she knows what I share all of my information with her. She knows what I've been struggling through. She knows what my situation is mentally, emotionally. She knows where I stood spiritually, like what I was dealing with. And again, if you watch my channel, I talk a lot about the things that I've had to deal with emotionally, mentally, just all type of things, right? I have a history, okay? This is an aunt that I have been this close with all of my life. Since I was a child, we have been stuck together like glue. Do you hear me? I was always with her as a kid. I always wanted to go with her. She was just a cool aunt. We're 10 years apart. So I'm 6, she's 16, and I'm just thinking she is just that it girl, okay? She taught me how to dance. She taught me how to skate. She taught me how to dress. Most of what I know about Black culture came from her. Listen, I am a Project Pat stan. The reason I'm so crazy about that sound, about that Southern type of rap, is because that was her stuff, okay? She was my best friend, you know what I mean? And it's really, really hard to discuss that. And so realistically, for the amount of things that I have gone through that she has stood by me with, don't know how to repay her other than doing this thing that I'm doing for her. We've never had an argument. She's never made me feel less than. She's always made me feel extremely loved. So watching her struggle with this thing was like just a dagger. You know what I mean? Just it was just one of the most painful things I have had to watch, because I loved her. Like, if you go back to some of my old videos, you'll see her commenting on most of my old YouTube videos. She's always in my comments. She's always supporting me. She's always on Amazon reviewing my books, leaving a nice review, 5 stars for me, because that's just how we rock, right? The struggle was very, very real. The struggle was so real that when she was on her deathbed, I couldn't let that be my last image of her. I couldn't go see her like that. One day while she was on her deathbed, she had asked me on FaceTime. She's like, so would you take my son? She's like, would you take my baby? And I was just like, I would be honored to do for him what you did for me. And I try to explain that to him even today, how she molded me, how I learned so much from her, so that he's able to, you know, also keep her alive in his head. And I said that because morally it was the right thing to do at that moment. Naturally, I'm a human with a heart, and I know that this is what she probably needs to hear, and she probably needs to leave this earth knowing that her baby would be taken care of. She didn't trust anybody more than she trusted me. And I think it shows just from simply asking me to take her baby in for the rest of his, you know, growing years. It made me extremely emotional, because for one, it was like, yes, I will do it. You deserve that. He deserves that. But after we got off the phone and I wept, and then I just was like, thinking to myself, how will I do this? How will I be that person for him when I am sleeping on my floor because I barely have energy to get up, when I am barely making it into work because I just don't feel well, when the depression is literally taking me like down to my knees some days and I just can't even function. Some days I'm skipping the whole day eating because I just don't feel like it, right? I was not even showing up for myself. And then I have to deal with grieving her on top of possibly taking this child in. It was the most craziest decision I had ever had to make in my life. I spent a lot of time talking to friends and just different people about what this really meant for me. I was dating this guy and he was like, so you know that how this is going to change dating for you, right? And I'm like, yes, I know that. I know, you know, now when I meet men, I have to say, yeah, I don't have any biological kids, and I have to give them the whole rundown now. When before I was living my single free life and I didn't have to worry about that. And now it's like a total transition. And I'm thinking to myself, God, how is it that I was so cautious and so intentional about not becoming a mom prematurely, but somehow, some way, you still force me into this thing? Let me tell you something about God and about purpose and about his grace and his mercy, okay? Because first of all, where we think we cannot show up, God will always show us that we can show up, okay? We can show up by his strength. Just like Moses felt like, I cannot lead your people here. I can't lead your people to freedom. I can barely read. I can't do nothing. I ain't never led no people. How you want me to be responsible for this? And God is like, listen to me. This is what I will have you to do. This is the plan that I have for your life. And if I told you to do it, I am going to see you through it. I don't give these types of responsibilities to people I don't trust to handle them. Let's just fast forward, because again, this is such a hefty story and there's just so much in this. But I just feel like each and every day I'm learning something new about myself. And what I didn't know was that having someone depend on me changed the way that I looked at myself. Because now, before I was struggling with figuring out what my purpose was, what do I need to be doing every day? Am I even needed on this earth? Like, what is going on? Lord, what will you have me to do? Where will you have me to go? You ain't gave me no husband. You ain't gave me no kids. You ain't gave me a tight-knit circle of people that can hold me up and support my arms while I'm going through this. What is it that you want me to do? Why am I here? And becoming somebody's legal guardian, parent, however you want to call that, has put such a great responsibility on me. There were days where I would not even get up and leave my room for the whole day. And now I'm getting up 3 times a day to feed somebody. I'm getting up every day to make sure that someone else bathes. I'm getting up every day making sure that someone gets to and from school. I'm getting up every day making sure that someone feels great. We had our first urgent care visit recently, and I'm just like, I'm really showing up for somebody when I have been struggling to even show up for myself. I don't know where the strength is coming from. I mean, I know, but it's just like, sometimes what we think is a burden is God's way of saving us. Because if I didn't have responsibilities, if I didn't have those responsibilities, I would have probably laid down on my floor and just let the depression consume me. But now I have someone who depends on me. I have to be well. I have to have the energy. And I'm not saying that it is a terrible thing. What I'm saying is it's forcing me to live. It's forcing me to live. Where before then I just laid there. I'm learning so much about this, and I'm taking it a day at a time. It has been a joy, but it also has been one of the craziest and just the hardest things that I've had to commit to. And there's no jumping up and just getting out of this. This is my life now. And although I have not given birth to someone that I have to look after, someone depends on me to be well and to take care of them. And so I have to show up. This has been a challenge, and I have to keep reminding myself that regardless of what is going on, there is a God who is making sure that we get what we need in the midst of it all. I mean, again, this is just, I could talk for days about the situation, but I just wanted to share that with somebody, that even though you may feel like you've been, put in a position where you feel like you've been forced into it, where you feel like you had no choice, right? But it's a God-given position because you got put into it, which means that you were picked, you were appointed. Do you know what it means to be chosen? That is going to be the person. It says a lot about who you are as a person. It says a lot about who you are in Christ. And from me to you, just keep going, okay? Pray a lot, journal a lot. Just keep going. Just take it day by day. Don't worry about tomorrow. Don't worry about yesterday. Don't worry about a year, 2 years, 5 years from now, because tomorrow gonna worry about itself, honey. Okay? Thank y'all so much for watching this video. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see y'all in the next video.